Hello, Beto. Hi, Maria.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. Welcome.
Hello.
All right. So glad to have you with us.
Yeah, hi
Who's your
everyone.
Go ahead, Riyad. Sorry.
Hi Bito, hi Maria, hi everyone. Welcome to today's session um, from Catalyst. Let me just share my screen quickly. Hope that everyone can see my screen. My screen is visible, right? Sounds good. So welcome to Catalyst session today. It's a part of the CCW, or let's say the Catalyzing Change Week of Catalyst now. Today's session is about the CatTech collaboration in terms of tech and AI for social change. Our speakers are Daniela from Ashoka Labs, Kasir from AI Future Labs. Would like to start with a video about
Um, Maria, I think the audio is not being shared.
sorry, Abhijit.
I guess the audio is not being shared.
Just a second. Um, 1 minute. I think there might be something wrong with my laptop actually.
Okay, I think we can just go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just share my screen again. So I'll just skip the video then, since it's not audible.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, just few guidelines for today. Would like if everyone can keep their video open, with their full, I mean, their name and the company or the organization they belong to. They can unmute when they speak and probably just raise their hand whenever they have a question. Talking about Catalyst, Catalyst is basically a dynamic global movement of social innovators transforming systems and driving sustainable change to advance the UN Sustainable Development Goals worldwide. We co-create spaces where the world's social innovators connect, collaborate, and contribute to transformational change. And today's session is one of the proofs for that. Talking about today's analyst, I would say, like I introduced earlier, Daniela from AI Shoka Labs, Kasir from AI Future Labs are the main speakers, and me, Riyad, as the moderator and leading the Catholic Lead Initiative. Before we actually start the session, I would like to invite everyone to observe a minute of silence for one of the speakers that was supposed to join us today, who is a friend, a mentor, and a colleague, uh, Ramazumaletu. And from here, I would like to mention our ecosystem partners. Um,
Riyadh, I think your entire screen is visible. Maybe you want to go in presentation mode.
yeah, just a minute. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, better. Thank you.
Yep. Maybe Abhishek, do you want to take it from this point?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone, and just continuing from where Riyadh left. So, Catalyst is proud to have a very strong family of ecosystem partners, supporters, partners who make the work that we do possible. And we'd like to thank them and recognize them for their support over the last several years. Um, Moving on. So, okay, I think we'll right away kickstart our session now. Yes, and we have Danny here. I think we're missing Kashir right now, but I think in the meantime, I guess he might be having some issues. So welcome, Danny, and thank you very much for being a part of this discussion with us. And hi, Dino. Good to have you on board with us as well. Um, so I think to kickstart, we like, I think it was to also mention a little bit about Rama. I think we lost a very good friend and supporter of this ecosystem. He's been quite valuable in the short amount of time that we've gotten to know him, and we recognize the space that he's or the void that he's created in today's discussion as well. Uh, and with and I think we all are in a way moving towards this a common goal. And I think Rama in general with his work and his life was supportive of that direction in terms of creating a space for technology and impact to exist. And I believe both of you are also in that same direction. So would like to open up with a quick background. And Danny, if you'd like to share a little bit about your role at Ashoka AI Labs and what you've been doing over the past several weeks, months, years, and maybe one key initiative that you would like to highlight with us today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Abhijit. Hello, everyone. I last week when we were preparing for this meeting, we had such a good conversation with Rama, and it was a very, I think, energized. We had a very good conversation with Dino and Kadir, and I think that I come to the session to also honor some of the energy and the conversations we had in preparation. I have been working in technology for social impact for the last 25 years, and I work at Ashoka. I am originally from Brazil. I am currently formally based in the US, but talking to you all from Brazil. And I turned my attention fully to AI to co-found the Ashoka AI Lab in the past 2 years with Olden Milbenheim. Some of you might have known him. We have been really pushing both internally at Ashoka and trying to engage the broader ecosystem into this conversation of, in the one hand, the importance and the potential of AI for our sector, and how important it is to engage with the conversation. And I think that hopefully this is a little bit of what we can do now. I think we have created more than 25 prototypes in the past 2 years. We have stirred very good discussions internally and externally. And I think that for me, given the size of Ashoka, and we have been also collaborating with Catalyst, the initiatives that are most interesting and inspiring are those that enable us to use technology to increase human connection and collaboration, and for us to have better conversations. So, how we can leverage AI to learn more about participants, think about how to improve conversations, and all. I'll stop here, Abhijit.
No, sure. Thank you very much, Danny. And it's been a privilege to get to know you and the work that both of you are doing in this amazing space. And maybe I'll let Dino take over and share a little bit about his phenomenal work across many initiatives that he's spearheading and is a part of as well.
First, thank you all. Thank you, Abhijit. I mean, in a brief glimpse, I started out with the Global Shapers community, the Web's Youth, where we had like an AI or like Future Skills for Good project or like program where we're teaching AI literacy to companies, to students, and like talking about how to work in a scientific context. And then we open up Linz Hub, which is in Austria. It's next to Salzburg, and it's from the UN's AI for Good young AI leaders community, which Danny is also supporting in Latin America and hopefully in Linz as well. And what we do is basically we try to reach this SDGs, but like put a sprinkle of AI on it, which basically means we have like across disciplines programs which take from either hackathons or we talk about AI literacy in schools. There's a session later on, I think in 2 hours or so, about how to train on AI literacy, how to focus on that, and how to reach a certain degree of proficiency and not just try out and work on it, but like make use of the tech in a proper and sustainable and like ethical ways. So we have something, so we profit from it properly and not just lose ourselves to cognitive offloading and just trust it like maybe my generation trusted Wikipedia back in the days. So that's where we have a stronger focus on them, and we have like software industry projects, so companies coming to us and talking about like, hey, let's do something, let's try out something, let's do like POCs. So we have like across industries, across departments, like different projects, as well as a little bit of startups and ventures, since we have like a university with like 4K AI students. Though it's a small city, but like a very big number of people like with skills, and they'd like to make sure that they can make use of it properly. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Danny and Dino. It's been wonderful knowing about your work, and I'm glad people here in the room are also excited to know deeper in terms of what you have in store for us today. To start with, I think on the first thought that I have, given that both of you engaged in the tech communities and are engaging with multiple partners here, I think one from a research standpoint, maybe Danny, if you'd love to share with us what insights do technical, like, can you bring from a technology angle, or developers are able to bring that maybe a lot of non-technical folks end up missing out. We discuss a lot about the potential of technology and AI in our work today, but could you throw some light on that piece?
Yes, happy to, Abhijit. And I think that what the one thing I would call out is what is the difference of using AI and how it differs from the other ways that we use technology in the past, especially from I think our perspective is when when we think about data and what you can do with it, we were used, and I think that in general, everyone thought, oh, data, you think about numbers and, or you get insights. And I think that the what folks that are more involved with the development and working with AI can appreciate the shift for being able to process this enormous amount of data that is qualitative and what are the possibilities that that this affords us. So I will say that this is a moment that we should invite developers and technical people into the decision-making conversations, because it's not just about like adding this to existing process. It actually has the potential to help us rethink how we do things. I'm quoting Jacek from Tech to the Rescue. I think he made a post about this yesterday, right? It's like, there's a lot that if you are, deep into, fighting with the technology or doing hackathons, as, Dino said, we should all lean into this and think about how we can do what we do potentially in a different way that is assisted by technology. This is my message. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And just building on that, I think the challenge also from a non-technical space that we see is people assume a lot about what technology can do and cannot do. And I think that's where having experts in the room, and actually builders in the room, rather, I'd use that term, uh, have that insight coming in and shaping these discussions. So that drives me to Dino now is, in your experience or your suggestions around how do we integrate practically people who are builders, practitioners in the technology space into these discussions, so that it does not just remain a theoretical or a possibilist view, but a more practical view of implementing solutions.
I mean, the concept of interdisciplinary work is nothing new, right? So like we have like this digital transformation trend, which is taking like a decade already, and we're like moving on stronger in that direction. And I mean, what AI did was like turn the digital transformation aspect into something cool, which is called AI, which is basically process automation, right? So you kind of use AI to support automated processes. And usually, if we want to talk about automated processes, especially if you want to, for example, implement a new ERP case, if you're Big Four and fail magically, like we've seen like in the news in the past days, there is the case of like, how do we make sure that we talk to the right people, the right stakeholders? It's not only about, okay, I have like this specific task and then you just do it. It's more about, all right, what is it that we actually want to accomplish? What are the workarounds people are using? And then I can include multiple stakeholders because, for example, we have the issue, we have developers who would like to develop. Then you have like a hackathon, so like who's going to organize the hackathon? Or we have like a software project where like, okay, well, we need to do requirements engineering. We need to find out, communicate with the customers and stakeholders. I mean, of course, I can wipe code everything, but like, where will it get me, right? Like, do I even know the questions which I should ask myself if I want to make it a secure platform of like encrypted messaging or whatever it is? And I think this is with the room where we now kind of move back to what we did already, or what we should be doing like in the last decade. Have the interdisciplinary teams talk to each other and try to understand each other's point of view, and not just like it's not only developers which we need to include. It's like, how do we manifest this kind of new way of working of product managers, not just I need a feature and it has to do this, and then he writes it down in text. not a product manager can go and like, here is what the prototype I built with Lovable. Can you recreate something like that? And I think this is the very interesting aspect we'll kind of move into. I mean, we've had it in the preparation last time, Danny. It's like, how, like, where will it lead me to? Like, is it not a product manager who decides exactly what it will look like? What do UX designers do? Or is it just people being equipped with better tools, right?
Absolutely. Thank you for putting it out in this wonderful fashion. And I'll just make a yeah. We already have a question, so Ahmed, please go ahead. But before that, I'll request everyone in the room to please show us your beautiful faces. We'd love to see and engage with you. And any questions, comments that you have, please put them in the chat and we'll take them up as well. Ahmed, please go ahead.
Hey guys. Yeah, so I just wanted to add to what they just said. I work a lot with startups and with entrepreneurs and youth and so on. And one question I always ask them, is this automation or is this machine learning or is this AI? Because a lot of them just call everything AI, including some banks. They tell you, yeah, we have now a chatbot AI. And I was like, but that's not really it. But the bigger thing is now, especially with the use of AI, ideas are all over the place. Like you can get an idea very, very easily. But I always tell entrepreneurs that you have to go to the market and check if your idea is viable for the market and not just it looks cool, you can program it and so on. Because it's very easy to program things now, more or less compared to before. But it needs to actually have like someone to buy it or for that service to actually make sense. So I agree with what they said, and I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Can I build on what you just said, Ahmad? Because I think that so I have been working with like technology inside of organizations for a long time, and I think that what you said of you have to test with the user is a key point that honestly it was really hard to do, because how do you get funding if you're in the inspect sector, right? You make this beautiful proposal plan and then you have to go there and sell it. And you can't say like, oh, look, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, right? It's kind of like, so there was a lot of, technology it was a difficult space to navigate, because in a lot of situations, you had to spend a lot of money to build your first version. And by the time that you figured out that your first version didn't work, you had already spent a lot. So what gives me hope about the fact that it's so good, so easy to build prototypes, not real, like products, right? But the prototyping is so much easier nowadays. And because AI has just brought this conversation about how technology can potentially help impact, that this is going to make the conversation easier for the impact sector to engage with, right? So this is my optimistic sense and hope that the fact that prototyping is much easier and anyone can go on Lovable and just create something quickly. And you know what? Like 99% of these things will probably not work, but that's good. Nobody spent $1 million to build something that will not work.
I mean, maybe just to add to that, I think this is the vibe coding trend is something which made it possible to truly understand the pain of designers if you tell them to change the color. Like, I've never felt that connected with a designer and I told him like, could you just make all the buttons a little bit rounder, or I don't know, like any other design change? Like, I don't know if I would be able to tell that to a person. Like, I'm like, yeah, can you just, I don't know, change this and this and that? And I'm like, I can tell it to an AI. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's lose 1 million credits. I can live with that. But like, hey, can you change everything? because someone doesn't like it.
Well, absolutely.
Mm.
But I just think that now, more on the non-tech side, people would think that, okay, changing color of a button is so simple and it takes a few seconds, whereas a real human would have taken a lot more time than any of these AI tools out there. But yeah, I think that actually takes me to the next thought, and we are, I think, bang on time right now. Um, Given, there's actually recently a case study also shared by Lovable, actually, on how someone built a impact solution and were able to uh, take that out in the world and uh, have a real world application built out with it, and have practicality in it. But uh, that also, in a general sense, a lot of people have been questioning um, the ethical concerns around just technology in general, or AI. And obviously with vibe coding, definitely that takes it to a whole new level, uh, because there are so many uh, security gaps that definitely exist within these tools. And beyond that, we look at a lot of these AI tools, which in general that we are talking about, how are very global north inclined, and the bias that comes along inside them, as well as a lot of these companies using the data to train their models all over again. So, Danny, here's a question or some thoughts that you'd like to share with us around, in your experience and practice, what are some of these barriers around the ethical concerns around use of AI and technology in general in the impact sector?
I wouldn't call them barriers, right? I think they're guardrails. Abhijit, I think that well, I am remembering I was at a workshop about this was before 2022, the launch of ChatGPT, but we were reflecting about polarization and social media. And by then we were already saying the thing is technology evolves quicker than the governments and the ethical systems that you attach to it to know how to operate, which I think that it's just the reality, right? Like I think that the best way to address this is to connect with the values that guide us, right? And the values are the same. We at Ashoka, very early, we didn't have a governance structure. We didn't have clarity about what to do, but we did put together very quickly, a letter of principles of what are the things work with AI. And this has been guiding our work since then. We call the vibe coding. Odin doesn't like us to say the vibe coding. He does coding, I do vibe coding, but we call it conscious tinkering. And for us, the tinkering is important. The conscious part is extremely important as well, right? And our core principles are, we keep data and personal information protected. We don't share confidential. We never let AI make decisions about anything, right? There's always a human in the loop. Back when we created this letter of principles, there were not a lot of frameworks actually there. Now there are a lot of them. I think if you're starting with AI in your organization, my recommendation is like just take a moment to create what is your letter of principles, what guides your decisions, and make sure that even if you're vibe coding, that you follow those principles.
Uh, Absolutely, and thank you for sharing that. Uh, I think Dino, also like, would you like to build on what Danny just shared, and also some ideas that like during actual development, what frameworks or checkpoints do you use to ensure on a responsible framework?
I mean, in general terms, there's like, I completely agree with Danny. Like, there's the aspect of trying and conscious trying and like going through with it and like iterating all over it, like with Ahmed mentioning it at the beginning. But there's like a difference between where I have to consider if people in my organization, especially when I introduce something to my organization, if these people are able to consider or like even evaluate properly the risks which are included, which is maybe some hallucination or factual correctness, or even like the topic of can I even fact check what I'm working on? Will I get a legal document? Is there like something I'll creating which may not be ethically something or something which is against the principles I've established in my organization. So I think there's quite a few considerations we'll have to include in our own, like because there's a difference between I am using it and I'm introducing it to a bigger organization, or I'm introducing it to the community. There was a study by EY and like I think Teach AI in 2024, where like Gen Z, which would expect like a younger generation to be able to understand the possibility of faulty um, um, results in like LLMs or like in a chatbot like ChatGPT or any other Gemini, be it one of them, and almost half of them were not able to properly judge that or make that estimation. So like with the Gen Z, the younger generation, which has difficulties to understand that it's not everything, and not everything is true, that you should fact check it, and if there's a link, please check it. Because there's more to it, and like I mean, I understand the difficulty of balancing ethics with speed in terms of innovation, and like okay, we need to try something, and especially in a nonprofit sector where I don't have a huge team which is able to, and I don't have a person for each topic, but there are considerations which I will have to make, and like I have to establish principles, but I also have to establish like operational guidelines. I have to get rail guards, like to make sure that the results I get are not wrong, even if I'm working with my own data. But I also have to consider like, well, how will it affect the people who are working with it? Will it turn to dependence? I'm not able to formulate a sentence without it, and or I don't have an opinion anymore because I'm asking someone on it. I think these are implications we shouldn't neglect.
No, absolutely. I think Ahmed has a comment to add here. Ahmed, please go ahead.
Actually, I wanted to ask just about the working with the initiative and so on. Can I take a minute to ask about that?
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so like I know there's been some progress in the background and so on, but I wanted to take a part of this call just to understand like where are we? Because I can see that things are not really moving as fast as we thought. So I just wanted to know some timelines, or how can we facilitate the process more? Because I can see a lot of people are confused with Discord, including me. So just wanted to raise that question anytime you want, even if it's not directly now. Thank you.
Absolutely. Maybe we could take that at the end from an operational standpoint, and while we focus on the discussion right now. So we definitely will ensure to respond to that. So coming back, I think Dino, both of you raised some very interesting points, and exactly at the time when I open up Reddit and I see a lot of these random posts about people using ChatGPT as their counselors, and even to a degree of having them as your partners, as boyfriends and girlfriends, and just reeling that in. And I think that the kind of impact that could have on people, or is having on people in a way, is creating these gaps in relationships and over reliance on AI, and how it aligns to your own thoughts. I think that's a major red flag that we are looking in, like, or rather experiencing right now. I wouldn't even say that's in the future. And that actually takes me more deeper into this, is how how do we, like, or what's the biggest misconception that you think or you encounter about AI capabilities that people overestimate, and how do you end up addressing that to people? Dino, maybe you want to take that?
Sure. I mean, there's like a difference between like I think we'll have to consider the environment you're in, right? So if I talk about capabilities, there's like the difference between the person who's using it and their capabilities, as well as the capabilities of the tool they're using it, right? So if I have like someone who can build something and I give him the proper tools, this person will be able to build it properly, assuming they have the skills, right? But if I give a person who's not briefed, like I can give a project to anyone in my company and I can give it like, just do it, please. And if I don't provide context, the proper context, this person will fail probably. Because how would they know from A to Z? It's like bringing a new project manager to your company or an engineer and just here's the code base, do it. Well, there's certain limitations and there's certain capabilities you can provide in context, which is the context window, which is obviously growing over the years with newer models and more context models are providing, or more context they're allowing. I mean, even we have like the history function, the memory function in like the newest versions of ChatGPT or the others. I mean, of course, there's more, it remembers a bit, but like we encounter other difficulties, which are, okay, can I articulate properly what I want and what I need? So I think this it will not only be about technical capabilities or technical limitations. Obviously, there are those. I cannot just give ChatGPT a 500 pages document and said, give me I don't know, something specific. There are capability limitations and capabilities of the humans which are using it. And or organizational structures. I mean, if you think about your own company, your own organization, and like you try to onboard a new person, there's like with any, for example, if I try to implement ERP systems, like this is how the process is like, and these are the workarounds, the nuances which I usually introduce as well. And these technical limitations, I think we'll first have to consider our own and articulating and being able to handle the feedback, because we did like one prompt workshop at one school 2 months ago, a few months ago, and the children, which I would consider like uh, experienced enough to be able to handle a tool, were trying to tell it to do it by repeating it. So I think ChatGPT will make us better parents, because we know now just repeating it multiple times and then screaming will not give you the solution. So maybe it has other positive effects, though the
Wow.
obvious technical limitations.
That's an insight I did not expect coming out today.
I mean, maybe Danny has a different take on that.
No, definitely. Danny, would you like to take over? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a like rich question. I think that I in the conversation could go in a lot of directions. I remember when we were talking last week, and with Rama, and we were like, the challenge of bringing the tech people with the like program people together is that people that are like more in the impact likes to go very philosophical and not very like, okay, how do you concretely, how do you solve this? So this is my introduction. I'm going to talk about two things: the very philosophical one, maybe not very practical, and then the very pragmatic one. The philosophical one is, I think that technology does not make us feel lonely, does not like, there is a root cause that brought human society to where we are today. The fact that people are having the kinds of conversations with technology that people are having, and I feel like we don't know how to be close to each other, and so it's harder to talk with each other, and it's very easy to talk with like ChatGPT. They are always like welcoming and friendly. If we don't acknowledge the root cause, it's going to be hard to solve the problem. Concretely, that does not mean that I think we shouldn't now look at the real fact that people are going to ChatGPT, and I think that it's what we're saying. It goes back to literacy. We need to like help people to fact check, right, or to question, and to and this is like the I think urgent thing we need to address, even to be able to benefit for the things that AI can do well, but the thing is, if you take the 500 documents and you ask it to do something with it, whatever it produces, it's going to feel pretty compelling. It's going to sound like it's brilliant. So, we'll have to learn how to evaluate the quality of things in a little bit of a different way.
Well, absolutely. I think one statement that I feel to just crystallize what both of you have said is, I think we overestimate the intelligence of the artificial intelligence in a way, and I think that's something that we shouldn't. It's and I think the promise of AGI in general is rooted in the exact same thought, where you have a gentle intelligence, and where you would have a certain set of people above it who are commanding it, and a certain set of people who are below that level, who will believe into everything that it says or it actions upon. And that's where even in the learning or education ecosystem, these ongoing discussions about how we are outsourcing our thought process completely towards AI, and I think that's detrimental at large. But yeah, I'm sure Ahmad also has a few thoughts, so I'll let Ahmad also speak. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to add to what both of them said. I think the problem with AI is not really a problem with AI. I think the problem has been there all along. There's a lot of people who feel some pain, go to Google and find it will tell them you have cancer or you have something and so on. So it's always been there. If you don't really fact check, you will find the wrong information about what's happening and so on. So I don't think AI created that problem. I think it's just more shed light on it because people have easier access to it and so on. So that's one. Two, I believe the programmers behind AI, all of them, like anyone who's releasing an AI product, should go through some sort of training, especially when it comes to ethics and all that stuff, and boundaries, to learn how to put boundaries and so on. So personally, I've created a GPT using ChatGPT, which is, I call it Coach Ahmad AI. So I do life coaching and so on. But now a lot of the people that I work with, unfortunately, cannot afford my services, or they want to call at 3 in the morning because they're having intrusive thoughts and so on. So this AI is helping them a lot, but in the boundaries that I created is that anytime it comes to dangerous or suicide or so on, tell them and keep repeating to them and reminding them that you have to consult with a real person. I cannot take the place of an actual person. Please call the person, all that stuff. So it's just about putting systems around the thing. And I always give an example when people tell me they're scared of AI. I tell them 100 years ago, farmers actually did revolution against the people who were getting tractors, because they said, oh, tractors are coming, they're going to take our jobs, we're not going to be able to do anything, and so on. Today, every farmer's dream is to own a tractor. So just learning how to use the tools and how to implement them and how to upgrade your skills is very important. And that's how you can keep up. And the last point I had is that lazy people will definitely hurt themselves by using AI, because if anyone fact checks and finds that you just copy pasted from AI, like we used to do in homework, for example, you copy paste from the internet, you will fail and people will see through you. You have to really put in the effort. Yes, AI will get you so much resources, but you have to go and understand what's happening before you release that project, for you to actually be authentic and not lazy. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Ahmad. And I'll let Leslie take over from here. I sadly have to drop off quickly to assist in another session, but it has been wonderful chatting with you all, and I'll let Leslie continue on the ongoing part.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. So we have about 14 minutes to go, and I think we can take 5 minutes to have the open discussion on just how can we as a tech community better educate all stakeholders and the public about the capabilities of AI versus the hype that is going on around the AI tools and the AI bubble in terms of financing and everything else.
Leslie, what do you think?
Okay, I think I read a book. I've forgotten the author, and it was about learning more from curiosity and explaining how AI, the field of AI, is about learning how to learn. But because of maybe ChatGPT and certain successful AI models, the community as a whole has stopped learning from like the AIs that do not work, and they're now just focusing on certain things about AI. And in a sense, it limits how much creativity and how much that can be achieved as a whole in the field. So I think it was like a really good insight in that once you box yourself into a certain objective, like we want this from AI, we're gonna stop looking at some bigger picture and just letting some of the tools evolve on their own to become better. That's what I think. What about you, Ahmad? Or should I choose someone else?
Yeah, we have some
Yeah.
folks here that have been hanging around.
Yeah.
If they want to share.
Philemon. Ah, Maria Ole.
Hello. Well, thank you for this session. Again, I am starting to use a little bit more like AI, though I was a bit skeptical in the beginning, but it's always like trying, as you were saying, how we can calm the hype. I think that in everything, to try to educate, it's better to be like explain it as simple as possible. So try to provide accessible and not super technical concepts that sometimes may afraid the audience. And also, I think it's important there is a lot of good things and opportunities in AI, but I think that we also need to be open about the risks or the limitations that it can also bring, or the challenges that it can also bring, before we jump into this hype that all AI is super good, which again, it's an advancement, but I'm also a bit more like, let's see as well what are all the challenges that we are also facing with this.
Thank you, Maria. Philemon and Roberta, would you like to give your thoughts on this?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a lecturer at university, and so I'm kind of fed up of my assignments coming back as the same old GPT or Gamma or whatever presentations. So also my question is how, as a teacher, I can move forward and using, because I use a lot AI myself for my research, but on the other hand, I'm really encouraging my students towards developing their own creativity and not, choosing among the options that AI offer them. So that's my my personal question. Maybe any ideas around these? I push them to use it carefully with cognition and a sort of criticism, and on the other hand, to keep on developing their own, natural skills and rely to their own thinking before they get used to it so much that at the end maybe they don't even think about anything twice because the answer is there and it's just one click away.
Thank you, Roberta. Philemon, do you have anything to add before Danny and Dino take the questions? All right. So back to you, Danny and Dino. You can answer the question and afterwards tell us what would you like us to remember from this session, one key takeaway from the session.
So I find the question about education extremely fascinating. We were late to change education, right? I think most of us have seen that picture where it's like, oh, this is how cars have evolved in the last 100 years. This is how computers, like how so many things have evolved. And then you see the picture of what a 100 years old classroom and the current classroom looks like, and it has not changed a lot. So I think that this was something that needed to happen for a long time. And for better or worse, I guess technology will force us to rethink how do we evaluate learning? How do we, enable students to have experiences? How can a teacher by themselves teach 40 students with completely different needs, completely different ways of thinking? Like, we're not equipping young people with the skills that they will need to thrive in the future. I mean, this a completely different part of this discussion, but I think that Roberta, I obviously do not have an answer about how to navigate this, but I think that we go back again to the problems that we're seeing with AI, and Ahmed said that they're exacerbating the problems that were there. It's kind of like taking those things that we knew needed to be rethought and then just putting them on steroids, right? Like, how do we do this? My tinkering mind thought that someone should create, and I'm sure someone had, just create an AI that refuses to give answers. It's like if the student goes there and says, just generate this answer to me, they will say, so how do you think about this, right? So it's more like a conversational. I'm sure this exists, probably Khan Academy maybe. But anyways, so just to this, how what are the solutions? I'd love to hear from Dino as well.
I'm gonna share your insights. I mean, I think the Socratic approach of not answering and like this of just asking questions upon questions. Sure, there's an AI for that. I think the web page is actually called "There's an AI for that" .com or so. So you could, I think we could look it up. I mean, in general terms, I think there's multiple levels. First of all, there's for sure like a framework, or at least a draft. The European Commission, the OECD, like developed a draft for AI literacy framework, which is I think it has four dimensions or so, or the four domains: enabling with AI, creating with AI, managing AI, and designing AI. And if I'm talking about how to make sure that my students don't end up just using it, copy pasting it, I mean, there's a technical way and there's like a old school way, I'd say. The technical way is something like that Danny mentioned, like you provide them with a customized, personalized learning assistant, which will not let them just generate stuff, but like where they will have to go through the cognitive process of figuring it out. The analog way, which is something I I remember today because I had to handwrite a card for a customer of mine, and I was like, oh wait, if I make a mistake, I have to throw the card away and create a new one. So maybe it's time to turn homework to in-class assignments and just go with it together so they kind of experience the limits of their capabilities for what they can do without assistance of technology. And like in class, either be able to articulate their case. So you can use AI, but you have to articulate it. And I will not let you pass until you've managed to properly understand your viewpoint or ChatGPT's viewpoint, or be able to recreate it in class without assistance, which is kind of difficult if you kind of get used to it, right? It's like, I don't know, like writing letters and waiting for days for someone to respond instead of like immediate gratification of like ding and you get a response. So I think it may turn out to this. And I think we're summing it up. So like one key takeaway for me, I'd say it's the difficulties we all have with navigating this new world of AI, which is like leaves us with so many question marks, and understanding that we're in it together and we kind of have to make it work somehow. And I think that kind of collective responsibility is something I enjoy that we have because it's not about separating us, but like figuring out how to navigate the same issues we all have.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think that my takeaway is that we need to engage into the conversation. This is not going to go away. I think that it's already so much entwined into our conversations and our day-to-day. Imagine when internet came around, if folks say, oh, this is just a something, it's going to pass, it's not going to be part of our lives, so I'm not going to take it seriously. I think that it is an important part. You might even disagree, but have the conversations, right? So engage, join sessions, talk with your mom. I don't know, but like I think it's just important to think about what it can do, how, as Leslie put, do we educate so we understand what is good for and what looks good for, but it's really bad. I also, Beto shared something on invitation on the chat. I think that's the ultimately, it's not just about AI, but where do we want to go as a society and how can AI help us to get there? So maybe Beto wants to share an invitation for the session.
Hi guys, sorry, I'm on the taxi going to a meeting, but yeah, actually we are building this global alliance for Buen Vivir to Ubuntu. So the idea is to reconnect with the traditional knowledges as a response for us to build a care economy and adapting and integrating AI responsibly, like you were saying, Danny. So the idea is to actually disconnect from technology and connect with nature and the environment. So basically, this is the vision that we are building. We have the session on Friday. The idea is to discuss and elaborate on what is a high impact ecosystem, what is a high impact mental health ecosystem. And through the connection of these elements, just like when we did Ubuntu, we intend to break mental health stigma and connect people and communities using AI to strengthen the social fabric and to and to catalyze a regenerative economy. So basically, this is the vision that we want to be building together. We have a challenge at the CATAC hackathon. So anyone that feels engaged with this vision, please join us and let's work together to build this hive. Thank you so much, Danny.
Thank you. I was writing my final statement, and I was writing, technology is not the goal. Connect with what you want to achieve, create a set of principles, and collective imagine how AI can help. That's my message. Do you have a final message, Dino or Leslie?
No, I just want to say thank you so much to you, our panelists, and our engaged audience. And we hope that the conversation doesn't end here. As you all know, we are working on tech solutions like Beto said, and Ahmad, Dino, Philemon. I think all of you are part of the CATE collaboration, and we look forward to all the solutions that you'll come up with the help of AI or without, but we're looking forward to seeing what we can achieve as a collective. Thank you so, so much, and go through some of the other sessions that are coming up tomorrow. And on Friday, Roberta, we have sessions on innovation in education, and that might be of interest to you, as well as the closing ceremony and other sessions that are still ongoing in the Catalyzing Change Week. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. See you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.